Exactly.
Yeah. Worst people.
All right, we on? Oh, look at that. Good morning, everybody. It is Friday. I made it to the end of the week. Aren't you fantastic? And yes, we are live. We are ready to take care of you this morning. Gareth Cliff Show on the Real Network. Here is Ben Karpinski. Look at him.
Hey, everybody.
In all his post-Kruger Park glory.
Yeah, don't you just love how it's getting so much lighter in the mornings now?
It is. It's getting much better. It's nice out there on Raced and Drive, as you can see.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
You know what? Something smells of smoke.
That's me. That's still me.
Why?
Guys, this week I was farting far, like genuinely. Were you a
far farter?
No, it was having the week in the Kruger is always the best thing. And it's always very chilled and relaxed. You know, there's danger around because you're in a place of the wild.
Yeah, sure. So the elephants and lion and...
Well, whenever I go into like a toilet, I always check the basin. I check all the holes for snakes.
Yes, you must.
And then
black mambas.
And then you relax, okay? So on the Wednesday, I think it was a Tuesday night, we're staying in Olifant's camp.
Right.
And all of them have these beautiful little thatch rondavels.
Yeah, nice.
It's all very nice, you know what you're getting. It's not premium, it's not luxury, but it's nice. And then out of nowhere, this wind came up. I've never heard a wind like this. I've never seen a wind like this. It was like a mini hurricane came through the camp.
Shit.
And then suddenly there was a bit of commotion, and there was a car light shone into my bedroom window. I was like, who is this prick? And can he turn this light off? And then I just see all this orange light, like fire. So what happened is that some guy decided to light a wood fire and then go for a little walk. But as he went for a little walk, the mini hurricane pulled in.
Was he a foreign tourist?
Yes.
God damn it.
Flame then caught thatch, and then because I chatted to some of the eyewitnesses, within 3 minutes, 3 units were up in flames, as in the fire had caught the thatch.
And you said it's so dry there at the moment, right?
It's so dry. It's so incredibly dry.
Raven says Ben is responsible for the fire. He is absolutely not. But look at these pictures you took.
I'm actually on the left there, farting of the fire. You can see.
Oh, someone else take this for you.
Yeah. So that was within 20 minutes of the fire going up.
How did you help fart?
So all we could do, because there's a Hilux with a drum on the back.
Yeah.
And they fill that up, and then they got a hose coming out.
Okay.
But that only seemed to have about, 300 liters of water.
Yeah, it's not a lot.
Small fire.
Oh.
And
Jesus, look at that.
While this was happening, me and about 10 other guests, of which English was minimal, we were just taking anything that could hold water down to the place.
Yeah.
And then we'd take the small buckets that were bins in all the rooms and just douse these units as best we could.
Jesus. So they lost 3 of them.
3 gone. So, and for about 2.5 hours, we're running up and down with all this water to try and get into the thing. So, yeah, we all just took turns where we were. And the smoke inhalation is quite something, of course. But there was a similar fire in Satire, which was close by.
Mm-hmm.
So they couldn't send the fire truck to us from there. So for 2 hours, the blaze was actually brought to a standstill purely on guests and staff with buckets.
Wow.
And then as the fire was
that's quite heroic.
The fire was pretty much done, the big red fire truck rolls in. They give us all masks. They tell us all the fire precautions. It's like, we've been having it.
We'd be down this road before.
And then they did the rest of the stuff. And then obviously a big old Dutchman came out and he just looked at everything and everything was fine after that. Like a circle of events. But I have literally, I've been scrubbing, I've been washing. I still smell like, because we were in the, there was times where I couldn't see, my eyes were burning, and but you get stuck in. But
look at that.
It was so scary because all those embers are just going into the camp now, and you weren't sure how far away they were going.
Yeah, because they can then fly right into something else and light
everything is so dry. So
sure.
So what they were doing after that is they were kicking the doors down to try and get all the things out of the other units in case they caught fire. And the units, obviously the guy who set the fire, his stuff was screwed. No one cared. But the next 2 units were these American tourists who apparently lost their passports, cameras,
my God, can you imagine?
Clothes.
Shitty.
They were wearing a bush braai outside of the camp, and this all happened. But freak winds, freak weather, never leave your fire unattended. That's rule number 1.
No, I mean, that's kind of obvious. I wish foreign tourists would go on some, mind you don't want to have them go on a course because they're not going to listen anyway. But you would think a wood fire, wind, it's very dry. This is kind of basic stuff. Maybe we just take it for granted that you should know this stuff in Africa.
Yeah, we do. And you don't want warning signs everywhere because the Kruger is there's so many things about the Kruger that are amazing. One of them is that it is pretty wild and chilled and just like do what you want. To a degree, of course. Like,
yeah, of course.
Don't drive off the road.
No.
Don't run after the animals. Those kind of this common sense though, just like the fire should be common sense. Yeah, maybe there should just be charcoal fires. Yeah.
I don't know. It's very irritating.
It sucked a bit, but I've never seen the Kruger so dry, as in desolate, dead.
Really?
Just it's the driest I've ever seen it. The bush has been the thinnest I've ever seen it. But we still managed to see big five. We actually saw rhino.
Nice.
Big rhino. Saw leopard on 3 occasions.
Wow, that's
It was
pretty
cool.
damn
Saw
good.
like the biggest herds of buffalo, elephants, wildebeest.
That's awesome.
It was cool.
Well, I'm glad you had a nice time.
All in all.
And you took your folks.
Well, yeah, because they do like a once a year thing. And I just drove them around because you need to. It does help.
But you did say that when you go, I mean, when they go on their own, they never see anything.
They don't see a lot, no. If they've got a lot of
So
bad luck.
when you go with them, then they see more.
Yeah, I take some photos, make a bit of a day trip, but I'm so exhausted still. You don't really sleep that much. You sleep in those shitty single beds.
Yeah.
Sandbox accommodation's cool and all, but you don't relax. You go there, you probably drink, and then you wake up every morning at 5 to get out. So I'm looking forward to some sleep this weekend. Really am.
I am too. I'm very excited about the weekend just because it'll be nice to do as little as possible, right? I was at a foundation dinner last night. They managed to raise the Tag Foundation. We actually had Johnny Khadber on here the other day. And the Tag Foundation raises money and then puts a whole lot of boys through KES.
Yep.
And now some girls through Parktown Girls. And they find these really deserving, really talented, really clever young kids who maybe don't have the funds, and they pay for everything for them. They raised 2.1 million rand last night at an auction. That's bloody amazing.
That's incredible.
Isn't it?
Honest Johnny and his team do a great job. They really
So
do.
good.
And it's such a leg up. People always go, oh, if I just had opportunities. But to go to that school, within that structure, within that support base, with those people, it's a network for life as well.
I just love that there are people, this is the thing about South Africa that nobody really takes into consideration when we talk about all of our problems and all the things that we've got to deal with, the challenges and all of that stuff, is that there are good people like Johnny and his wife, Tracy, who are essentially like parents to 60 kids.
Yeah.
They are putting them through school. They are buying their sports kit. They are making sure that they have stationery and books. They're paying for their hostel accommodation if that's what they need. They are paying for their lunch boxes, everything. They take care of everything. I mean, these are the most incredible people. The foundation is incredible. There are lots of people who support it who are incredible. And, those kinds of things, you can't account for them when it comes to the kinds of things that go on in South Africa that are just, they speak very highly of some of our people in this country who are doing way more than their fair share of heavy lifting.
And weren't asked to.
No.
They weren't guilted into, and they weren't given a budget to.
It's beautiful.
They just went on their own accord. And it's the second kind of job that they have. I mean, Johnny, they've got their own businesses. They've got their own staff. They've got their own problems. And to do this outside of that.
Take that on as well.
It's amazing. So
Lovely.
just to give you some references to what school actually costs.
Yeah.
A year at King Edward's School is roughly 69,900 is what an annual school fee per kid will cost.
Yeah.
It's the second highest of all public schools in South Africa.
Really? What's the highest?
It's a phenomenal school. The facilities are great.
Yeah, it's amazing.
The highest is Pretoria Boys High, which just pips over the 70,000 mark a year.
Is that for day schools? Because obviously
this isn't factoring in sort of extra other things. But when you look at it like that, the most expensive public school, government school in the country is 70,000. Do you want to quickly go through the top 10?
Sure, let's go. People want to know.
Okay, number 10, private schools. See, private school kids. This is it. 323,000 rand gets you into DSG Girls in Durban.
Okay.
329,000 rand a year gets you into St. Albans College. 336,000 rand a year gets you one kid, St. Mary's Girls. 342,000 gets you into Bishops, which you can talk about for the rest of your life. 351,000 a year gets you into Kersney College in KZN.
Right.
353,000 a year gets you into St. John's College, which is next door to KES, which is obviously the private school. Rodine Girls 360,000 rand if you want to send your daughter there per year.
And she might still turn out to be terrible.
Yeah.
You never know.
And rebellious and ungrateful.
Rebellious.
So, top 3, St. Andrew's College, 364,000.
Right.
That's like cool bishops because you're in the rurals.
Yes.
And then the top 2, Michael House, 368,000 rand. And the highest, the most expensive school, Halton College, 398,000 rand.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Wow.
So what, times 5 years?
It's a lot of money.
If that little shit doesn't come out of there ungrateful, fantastic, exceptional.
If your kid doesn't come out earning 6 figures by like the second year out of school, you've wasted your money.
And got a foundation putting other kids in there.
Just look at that. That's 400. Okay, round it off. 400,000 for a year.
2 million?
More. It's more. It's 5 years, right?
5 times 4.
Well, I'm saying a little bit more.
It's 2 million, but then
we're not taking all the other costs into consideration.
But all the other costs, I reckon you're in for 4 because you got to send them on holidays and that kind of stuff.
That's right. You got to clothe the little bastards,
and then you got to
feed them,
and then you got to pay lawyers if one of them gets bullied or bullies. Like in Bishops now, apparently some kid got beaten up.
Where?
Elon got beaten up. Let's not jump to
conclusions. Elon got beaten up and he ended up being the richest guy in the world.
Exactly.
Let me tell you something. We've got to find a way to I'm not for bullying. And I mean, I've got lots of
absolutely not
friends who were bullied. I wasn't bullied at school. I don't have a lot of sympathy. I try. I go, let me try and be sympathetic. No, I don't. I wasn't a bully, but I also think there's a balance. There's like a little bit of, you need to have a little bit of like actual shame and pressure at school in order for you to perform.
Be alert.
And and learn about where you fit into the social hierarchy. Yes. Because if you don't figure that out early, you go into the world, you think, oh, I'll just occupy this space in the social hierarchy. And then you very quickly learn that's not going to happen. You get hit down fucking hard. And I think it can hurt you more when you're older. When you're younger, you're malleable, right? You can find your place. You can work a little harder. You can play a bit of sport. You can make a joke and the girls will like you. You can, do something at school that shows off a talent that you didn't know you had or that other people didn't know you had. And then you'll fit in because people will go, you know what? He may have weird hair, but it makes me laugh.
Yes, I mean, some kids are on the back foot and they will get bullied. Like if you rock up with leprosy and like a club foot or something, you're going to have a tough time.
Yeah, but that's how it's going to be through life.
Very rare occasion. One of the things is school allows you to identify threats and how you act upon that.
Yes.
So if you are bringing adverse attention upon yourself and getting bullied, again, I'm not saying that you deserve to get bullied at any time. I mean, my brothers bullied me at home.
Yeah,
so
sure. School. You grew up feral.
I grew up feral and it was tough. Okay. So, but identified the sort of things that could get me unbullied a bit. Start playing sports. Become a little bit more aggressive and assertive.
Yeah. Stand up for yourself.
Be someone who isn't just so unsightly. There's all of these little things you can do. And school teaches you that because if you get bullied in the workplace.
then it's very bad. And believe me, you're not going to get a whole lot of help from HR. B says, I was bullied by this girl in school. Turns out she's gay and I think she had a crush on me. Bless.
Yeah, exactly. So be unfortunate. You were just too damn sexy.
Right. So you deserve to be bullied. You were too sexy. Sugar says Elon got bullied and he's trying to move to Mars. Well, listen, I know loads of very, very successful people who were bullied. Like if life is too easy for you, you're just going to be a soft, meh person. Yeah. There's got to be a bit of a challenge. There's got to be something that you resist against.
Or have the fortitude to resist against something.
So else. This brings me to a story that broke yesterday. About Liam Payne from One Direction. Did you hear about this?
Yes. So he's no longer of this earth.
So yeah, they were sharing videos all over social media yesterday. He apparently posted to Snapchat. Who knew Snapchat was still a thing? And he was in a hotel in Argentina. It looked like he was on holiday with his girlfriend. Looked like they were having a very nice time. He was still joking at breakfast about what orange juice or something. And it looked like they were having fun. They're in this beautiful place. And then, I don't know, a couple of minutes, hours later, he jumped out of the 3rd floor of the hotel.
Wow.
And felt his death. Now, I don't really care that he was in One Direction. Okay, I know there are lots of girls. One of my friends posted this thing. Can someone please explain to me why all these women who didn't know Liam Payne are so upset? I was like, well, I think it's just it's an idol pop star thing that's always been a part of, from Beatlemania, and before that there were all kinds of others. I don't care that he was famous. I don't care that he was a singer. It bothers me. It really bothers me when young people who have, in his case, a great life, talent, it seems like he has money, seems like he has options in the world.
Yes.
And this guy decides to end it all. Now, I don't get serious on this show, and I don't want to on a Friday morning. But let me tell you something. The miracle is that you're alive. I might have said this before on the show, but listen very carefully. For you to exist, and for everyone in your family tree going back 5,000 years to have fucked at exactly the right time to make you, for the right sperm to get to the right egg, for that person who's delivering either of those to not have died of malnutrition, their teeth, disease, natural disasters, war, for all of those amazing statistics and probabilities to line up just exactly right for you to exist, the chances of you being here and being alive and being sentient and being able to understand what I'm saying now are so tiny that if you won the lottery 5 million times in a row, you wouldn't be as lucky as you are to be alive. Do you understand that there is nothing going on internally? There is nothing inside your head that compares in magnitude to the chances of you being alive. The fact that you're here is so special and so spectacular and so unbelievably unlikely that whatever bullshit you're convincing yourself of, whatever you think you've got wrong with you, whatever's plaguing you or bothering you or making it difficult for you to get up and get out of bed in the morning, you're just an ungrateful little fucking pain in the ass. And you need to get over yourself and you need to snap out of it, because the miracle is here and it's happening and it doesn't get better than this. This is pretty fucking awesome. You're alive. And if you can walk and if you can talk and if you can think, you can get through anything. And to jump out of the building as a young pop star who has a girlfriend and a family and people who care about you, people you don't even know who care about you, who are now crying about you. For you to end that is just so spectacularly stupid and selfish that I don't even have words to describe it anymore.
The ones you just use are pretty good, though. I think that pretty much sums up a lot.
Just get over it. I mean, like, really, whatever it is, like, you could be, I'm depressed, I'm anxious. Sure. You think every other generation of humans that's been on planet Earth hasn't been depressed and anxious? You know what the difference is? Nobody listened to them. And they either had to get on with it or they had to do what Liam Payne just did. And guess who we remember? Not the ones who do what Liam Payne just did. Plus, what an absolute disgrace to throw away that gift, to throw away the chance of life. It blows my mind. So I was furious, which is something that doesn't happen to me when celebrities die. I don't get cross, and I don't even know who this guy was. I don't. I know he's one of the One Direction boys, right? That's all I know. And there are all those funny memes coming out already about, oh, there's only One Direction and it's down, and all this sort of shit. It's never too soon. I don't mind. Those jokes don't hurt and offend me. What hurts and offends me is that people will toss away this idea of life being too hard, life being insurmountable, challenges being too great. It's like, what the hell is wrong with you? You have won 1 million lotteries in a row. Out of all the possible outcomes, you were it. You. Do you know how in every single aspect of how the world, the universe, 4.5 billion years ago, the stars had to be compressed into something the size of a pinhead and then explode out. The galaxies and the solar systems had to expand at a rate which is unbelievable for us to compute. There had to be pressures and temperatures that are infinite that we can't measure with the scales that we have to measure physical phenomena. And then the earth had to form. And all of this happened. And you end up being a product at the end of it. How unbelievably lucky are you? And what do? You're like, I'm not having a great time in Argentina.
In Argentina, and I always think that poor girlfriend.
Oh, no, she has to go home with a fucking body.
I experienced a suicide very close to me.
I remember
a guy I live with did it.
No.
Again, I mean, it's poor reflection on around you, but you just got to take a bit more of a gap. But I don't think he's got a friend like you, Gareth, that could actually spell things out like that. And sometimes you live in these vacuums where you get all the wrong voices for years and years and years, maybe. I'm not saying it's right, but I reckon this is what people get into.
There's nothing.
You can't be that defeatist.
There's nothing so bad.
No, I agree.
There's nothing so bad that it's worth compromising on everything conspiring to make you. Everything that's conspired to make you. This panoply of forces that have come together. And you go, I'm feeling a bit sad today.
How old was this guy?
The dopamine and serotonin levels are all over the place.
Maybe he just knocked up his girlfriend. Whatever.
My girlfriend broke up with me. I mean, come on. What an embarrassing reason to end the best fucking adventure. Just drives me mad.
It does a bit.
The gods in fucking heaven on Mount Olympus want to come and experience things as a human. They want, why? Because mortality is finite. Because humans, everything is urgent. You only have, if you're lucky, 100 years. If you live healthy, fulfilled, meaningful, happy life, you're even luckier than that. But during that time, you get to experience all the highs and all the lows. And it is the best roller coaster you could ever imagine. Gods don't have that. They live forever. No urgency. You have, supreme powers. You can make things by imagination. You can destroy things at will. Whole universes can be made up if you believe in the power of the divine. But to be human, it's so open-ended. You can do all of the things that it is possible to do with a meat vehicle and enjoy every step of the way. Whether the good things or the bad things happen, experience it. Savor that. Instead, some people are like, no, you know what? This roller coaster is too hectic. I'm going to cut the ride short. Pull the brake. How stupid. You know what you could be missing out on?
And then the media goes into the cut and paste. Check in with your friends. Mental health is no joke.
Geez. Well, it is. It's mental health month or whatever. So
oh, fuck, it doesn't help.
At least he timed it right. Anyway, I mean, if you came here for sympathy this morning, that's not going to happen. A little bit of tough love is probably the best thing you can get.
But what does sympathy get you? It gets you into a place where you can get more sympathy. There's also that.
Well,
what are the drugs?
So this is a thing that's come up as well, and we will move on in a second. But just like too much aggression and violence is hugely toxic and can affect people very badly. At the other end of the spectrum, the part that no one talks about is an excess of compassion. There is such a thing as toxic compassion. All right, there is such a thing as too much empathy and sympathy and compassion. And that results in everything going tits up, just like too much violence and aggression does. So figure out how to find a little bit of balance. That could be a fun journey too. Okay? All right, let's move on.
Well said, though, Gareth. You're very good at this broadcasting thing, I must say.
Drives me mad. Yesterday, I did a very cool thing. I popped in. Have you got that picture of that bakery? The best smell in the universe is a bakery.
I almost smelt that because it's so sensory. So as you posted
look at that. And there's coffee.
Yeah,
so what I did is I went and collected 3 coffees for 2 of the other people I was going to see first thing in the morning. And look at that bread, and you can just smell it. There's a place called Tiamo. It's at the Shell Garage.
You wouldn't think it from the outside.
Oh man! And you just you walk in there, and you're just happy. It's like
all those smells. It's the best thing.
That's the best early morning
those coffee beans grinding.
Oh my god, it's great. So there we go. And that's actually the guy who owns and runs it in the background there. Very, very cool. It's proper. He knows what he's doing. And his staff are awesome. And they open those ovens and the smell that comes out of there is heaven, man. Anyway. And then another good reason to be excited on this Friday morning is they killed that motherfucker Sinwar. Isn't that great? Just show them the picture of these brilliant Israeli Defense Force troops who managed to shoot this guy in the head. This is the guy who organized the October 7th massacre a year ago. And it took them just over a year to completely wipe Hamas and this motherfucker out. You see, there is karma. Like, if you are a terrible person, and by the way, I mean, this is a grisly picture. We probably shouldn't show it. Maybe YouTube will stop us. Ugh, God. All right, well, I'll see if I can't post it on my social media later.
It's a very good photo,
because Ding Dong the Witch is dead. And I am not going to feel bad about bad people being dead.
Yeah.
That is the way of history, right? If you're a bad person, I mean, no one's sitting around right now going, they shouldn't have treated Hitler so badly. And they shouldn't have treated Pol Pot so badly. And they shouldn't have done what they did to old Che Guevara. No, said no one, unless they're a psychopath. This guy is an absolute monster. I'm very, very glad for the rest of humanity, not just for Israel, but for all of humanity, that this guy's gone. He doesn't care about anyone's life, so why should we care about his? So there's another reason to be excited. And
again, I mean, very well put, Gareth.
Yeah.
It's difficult to add any sort of layers onto what you're saying here.
I'm sorry, am I?
No, I mean, you nailed it. That guy wanted innocent people dead. You can say what you want about free guys, all that kind of stuff. I
don't care about your politics. You may be the biggest pro-Palestinian. That's fine. We can still sit and have a drink together. Well, you probably won't drink, but I'll have a drink with you. But this guy was bad for all of humanity.
Wasn't a great addition to society, no.
And here's another thing to think about this morning. In case you're one of those people who wakes up and you are jealous and resentful, we need to get out of that if we want to be happy, right? So someone sent me this picture of Lisa Simpson standing there with, wise words on the wall. And I thought this is such a good one to just keep on your phone for when you meet someone who complains about how everything is someone else's fault. They take no responsibility for their own lives. It's so unfair. When people say unfair, I immediately get like chills down my spine. So here's this is what it says about billionaires. None of your problems are because someone else is a billionaire.
Yep.
Ain't that the truth?
Sure.
So if you took all the billionaires and you just erased them, do you for a second think that your life would be better? Probably be a lot worse, because some of those billionaires have that money because they've made things that you use every day, like computers or, the internet, things like that.
It's a reflection of how much value they give in society.
Society pays them in return with money, because society goes, I need that watch. I'm going to pay you money for it.
That's why activists are so poor, because a lot of the time they add zero value to the world. Zero value.
Okay, so if you are feeling a bit like a victim this morning, that's also okay. Here is a video of fuck you in particular. Like, it's sometimes just not your day. So here's a guy, he's standing around. There's someone flying one of those remote control planes, but it looks like quite a big plane. It's got propellers and everything. I mean, it almost looked like a full-size plane, and then you suddenly see the scale. And it just comes out of nowhere and hits this poor guy right in the head. And it actually, Gord Laws sent it to me. And I think it's funny because he's written there, just fuck you in particular. And this just shows if it's not your day, it's not your day, right?
Oh! Jeez.
What? Watch it again.
Oh! Jeez.
And the part that I like the most is that he lies there and goes, ugh. At the end. Poor guy.
Was he flying
That's bad luck.
I mean,
no,
I don't have no context.
But if he was flying it and he flew it into himself, that would be a whole lot worse. I don't think so. I think it was someone else flying it. I don't know. I love it.
But just watching guys, I mean, I fly a drone from time to time, but watching guys flying planes must be the funniest thing to see anyway. Crashes aside.
So you talk about flying drones. My mate was at a family wedding, and he also had a drone. And he lined everybody up on the side of this little dam, and he took his drone out and Took this beautiful like family picture of the wedding party and everything. And he like hovered his drone right above the water, and then suddenly it went under the water and it came up a little bit and went a little bit further, and then boom.
Oh no, that's heartbreaking.
So his whole drone's gone.
Wow.
How shit is that?
It's like a guy seeing another guy getting kicked in the nuts. It's like, I've crashed a few drones. Never in a dangerous sense, but it's.
Well, I was with you once when you flew yours into a tree.
Trees move, Gareth. Trees
No,
move.
I'm not saying you were stupid, but they are hard to fly.
Well, there's certain things you do. Yeah, I've got a very small one now. I fly it seldom. Golf course stuff mainly.
All right. Well, we have lots to talk about this morning. Apparently, I saw this headline. I don't know whether it's true or not, but they are getting closer to finalizing the Senzo Meyiwa case.
Which, may I add, that happened 10 years ago.
It's a long time ago.
So it was seen as a cold case, which is a really cool way of making shows because, well, if it's cold, it can't be solved. But I had a cursory look at the story yesterday. There was some old guy who saw, because there was a whole argument, there was no intruders in Pistorius that night.
Yeah.
As in, the killers were known, they were friends or whatever in a circle. And it's like, so no, like two outsiders made their way into the house. So it was murder. And the guy said, I know who they are. But then he didn't want to testify. So he didn't want to come forward.
Jesus.
And only in 2019 did his son eventually get him to go and say, look, you have to make a statement. You have to say these things because they were very known who the killers were in these communities. But nobody came forward with any sort of information. That's the admin. They don't want to go wait in a line or whatever it is. But the entire case now hangs on this. So from what I gather, they've got the two oaks there. And these oaks aren't nice people.
No, they must be awful people.
They got prior convictions. They are not nice people.
Sure.
They don't need to be in society. But that is now, I think today or yesterday was the final day of hearing. And it actually might go somewhere after all this time.
I hope so. I mean, can you imagine how frustrating this is for family and friends and people who actually knew Senzo? And I know Kelly Kumalo's been through the ringer on this one too. Some people said it was her.
Well, there's people talking about being bewitched.
Chico Twala's son. It's like a whole lot of shit going on.
It turned into a bit of a soap opera, really, and everyone is kind of sick of it.
Well, Leanne says the judge in the trial honestly looks so sick and tired of it. I always felt like being a judge would be pretty boring in reality. That guy solidifies the notion for me.
It must be terrible.
Just tired and exhausted.
At least I think they got to a point now where they could be dropping the gavel. Is it gavel?
Gavel.
Be dropping that in the case anytime soon. 10 years. I mean, we thought the Oscar trial was long-winded.
Listen, that was long-winded, and I can't believe that Senzo that happened 10 years ago.
But why is there no more?
It's unbelievable, right?
Why is there no more info about Oscar? He's out, right?
Yeah, he's under house arrest.
And I know he's not going to do any interviews or anything like that.
No, he can't. He's not allowed to. So he's not allowed to profit from anything to do with his incarceration or his crime.
Cool. But you've heard nothing.
Yeah, but why would he talk? What's he got to say?
No, I'm not saying he's going to say anything, but you telling me that he never leaves Uncle
Well, I'm
Arnold's...
sure Karen Morn is still hiding in the bushes outside his house.
But how bad are our investigative journalists and or creeps if we can't even get the slightest story out of this?
I'm sure there are terrible people hanging around the house trying to find like a picture of him doing his morning exercises.
Oscar Pistorius right now,
I
want to get like
new.
a slither. You know, Michael Schumacher was a vegetable for 20 years. People still made stories about him. There was still things you could look at, sort of. I mean, we're in the always on culture here. Oscar Pistorius. So I Google him right now. Okay, he's 37. He's turning 38 in November. Happy days.
Jeez,
but there's no stories. There's no like Oscar spotted trying to get into Atasha's. Or...
No, I don't think they'll let him in anymore.
There was a story about him in May, snubbed by the Paralympics. Well, yeah, no shit.
Well,
also he's 38. He's not going to be running against anybody.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah,
there was a story about Oscar volunteering in NG Kerk somewhere, says Kala. Okay. What should we do, Ben? Give Oscar a leg up, says Congo Chris.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, there was a story on the 31st of August. But again, there's no pics. It's just...
Ben, I don't know. I don't have this hankering for an Oscar story that you do.
Guys,
Clearly.
I don't either. But I mean, on a Friday, I feel like I should be like Mr. Current Affairs here. And
No, calm down. Here's something from the 70s to make you feel better. All right, have you got that Stairway to Stardom? Okay, this is amazing, Ben. We know how you get nostalgic about the 70s and the 80s and all of that stuff. Take a look at how terrible entertainment used to be. Guys, we've come a long way, and
I hate them about to love this.
you're going to love it. But I will. I mean, I was embarrassed watching it. Oh, by the way, Brian says I saw Oscar spotted at international departures.
Talking shit, Brian.
The day we went to
You're known
Bulgaria.
for talking shit, Brian.
Brian, such lies. You know, the lies.
The lies with Brian all the
It's
time.
just always so, that's a heap of lies. All right, so here it is. Stairway to Stardom. This will take you back to the 70s if you can remember the 70s, and you'll be glad you didn't know the 70s once you've seen it.
Stay tuned, because Stairway to Stardom is next with Frank Massey.
How bad? What? It's better.
On the stairway to stardom, you'll see tomorrow starts today. On the stairway to stardom, we're here to brighten up your day. We've got singers and dancers and actors performing for you. But there's more, so much more, and it's all right here for you. On the stairway to stardom, we'll entertain with style and in style. On the stairway to stardom, we've got the other shows beat by a mile. On the stairway to stardom, on the stairway to stardom.
Oh my God.
On the stairway to stardom. On the stairway to stardom.
And then there's Skype going.
On the stairway to stardom.
Oh, Jesus, that's embarrassing.
That was phenomenal. Can we?
I mean, it's like the outfits, the lighting. You can see it's done in some producers' like prefab office. Who knows what sexual molestation occurred in those walls?
horrific.
It just looks horrific. Like, just be so grateful that you live in an age. I mean, I know we all complain about, Game of Thrones, I didn't like the ending. That's what you could have had.
Can you imagine the ending to Stairway to Stardom?
Gee,
I think the cops just burst in and they just arrest everybody.
Arrest everyone. I mean, there was that man in the duck egg blue frill shirt, right? With that little girl and then that very old woman. And he kind of pushes the little girl to the back and you think, that's the last we'll ever see of her. And that is terrifying. That's like a ventriloquist. That's Yahya Sinwar, who ended up in Palestine, obviously leading Hamas eventually.
He looked good in his young days.
He looked a lot better. That is a belly dancer, but you don't see a belly. And who the hell knows what's going on in the background there? There's like people clapping. This poor little girl was never seen again.
These actually strike me as all the people in showbiz that were too ugly to be molested.
No, well, these weren't even taken to Epstein's Island.
No.
Look at that. Oh, and then this dude
Greg Welsh.
with the spinning. Look at this guy belting out a high note, sweating like a. And here's Miles Davis before he was famous.
Didn't you love how?
Look how they Skype this guy in. They Skype in the singer.
Didn't you love how everything
I don't think
had
they
a
had
theme
Skype,
tune?
right? That's
I
amazing.
think we should bring theme tunes back.
Theme tune.
Because I mean, how bad are the
On the
lyrics
Stairway
on
to Stardom.
It's the show that's got
Yeah.
them all beats.
Great.
It's-
I like that.
I think
Maybe we
have a
should
theme
change
tune,
this
guys.
show to Stairway to Stardom.
Can we at least have a theme tune for Fridays? I'll write the lyrics. Gareth, you
All
can
right.
sing it.
Okay, let's do it.
I'm sure Flex can
I,
play
like,
bass
I mean, if
guitar.
Stairway to
Dave's got
Stardom
keyboard.
can have a theme tune, we can, right? Unbelievable. So I was lying in bed last night just looking for fun, interesting stuff, and that came up. But the thing that made me laugh the most is people who probably were there at the time Stairway to Stardom was a hit and are now old and living in Scandinavia. And this is what they do or did. I don't know when this was made. This is what old Scandinavians do. People always talk about, Norway and Sweden and Finland and Denmark and Iceland. They're the best countries. They have the highest happiness index. You know, and they have social welfare and you don't pay for school and you don't pay for healthcare. And it's just great. Like everybody always tells you how amazing Scandinavia is. But if this is what it's like when you're old, give me an old age home in South Africa any day of the week
Yeah.
and twice on Sundays. And that is not a good proposition, okay? Old age homes in general. But watch what these Scandinavians do for fun. This made me laugh out loud in bed last night.
Bedre og bedre dag for dag. Bedre og bruk armene og bruk bena. Ikke gå rundt stolen. Ikke gå rundt meg og bruk armene og bruk bena. Det går bedre og bedre dag for dag.
Wow. We thought Stairway to Stardom was the low point.
And then she eventually goes, tra-la-la-la-la-la-la.
That woman looked like she might have come over from Germany in, I would know, mid-40s.
Oh, Virus is right. Welcome to the Gareth Cliff Show, exploring Gareth's surfing history. See, everybody doesn't want anyone to see their surfing history. I bring it right out on the show because to me, this is too good to miss. I mean, look at this chick in the glasses there on the left. She becomes the main star later on. There she is.
She's got those like aquarium glasses.
Gareth, why are you showing us this video of one of your old gigs? Look at her. She's the best, right? Oh, God, I love it. So we may be playing that a couple of hundred times in the next few months. Chair aerobics. My mother-in-law does this weekly. It's a big thing. Is that what it's called? Chair aerobics.
I hope it got more vigorous after that, though.
They just walk around the chairs. That's all. I thought it was like... what's that game you play where
Musical
there's
chairs.
Musical chairs, right? And then
one
there's
of them falls down, but then they break a hip.
that doesn't get competitive at all. I think they always have enough chairs because they seem like they have more chairs than
musical
people.
chairs where everyone has a chair. It's a never-ending game.
So
They
pointless.
play it until they die. They just rotate the
They just
instructor.
keep going.
It's like the final stage of life. That's it.
Oh, they don't make them like this anymore. I'm not sure if Elon Chief Twat in the comments is talking about the old age home with the people walking around the chairs or Stairway to Stardom. But
I have a question.
go on.
So, if you win idols or any of these kind of things, there's a cash incentive or there's something. I would love to know what the Stairway gets you. So if you do well on that show, does the grubby guy...
It's just for... I think it was for orphans, and it was better than being in the orphanage.
I would just love to know what the Stairway is. Do you get a record deal?
I don't think anything happened to you.
Do you get to open up for a
No,
local
you
performer?
probably just got molested by the producer of that show, who probably had a big moustache,
Huge.
and like a yellow suit with a waistcoat.
He probably got you. He signed you up to his casting agency, which was straight away a couch.
Definitely.
Ugh.
Ugh. And there were some old people in there showing off their...
We should have had
talents.
this video last week with Shamila. She could have given us insights into how
Jesus.
effective Stairway to Stardom could have
I
been.
mean, wow. And then I found a video of a possessed woman in Sicily. Now, we had that woman the other day who shouted at that guy from the car. Remember the security guard or whatever? And she goes, man, you're thief. Fuck Joe. You know that one? Anyway, this is an Italian, because people think, Italians are so civilized and sophisticated and they know how to make lovely food and they speak this beautiful language. Well, here's a woman in Sicily.
What's Italian for thief?
You're about to see. And she like shouts at some other woman, like, because you know how Italy is. Like, everything's at 100% emotion all the time. So some woman down the street, you can hear shouting at her. She's like, fuck you, Samantha, or whatever. And then this chick loses it. So watch this. I mean, now that is something else. By the way, someone just put up that comment about the Kiffness, because he's actually going to be our guest this morning. The Kiffness, whose new song, They're Eating the Dogs, Eating the Cats, is just fucking amazing. And it's all over. We're not so much having him on as a guest. He's coming on to talk shit with us. So he'll be here for the whole of the next hour, which I'm very excited about. But yeah, the Kiffness should write a theme song for this show. He is too famous and too busy to be bothering
we
with
should
us.
show him Stairway to Stardom. I think he'll be inspired to.
You think so? Okay, let's do that. Good idea.
So
All right.
it's quite funny how that woman who was
The
melting
possessed
down,
woman, yeah.
it came from the account Visit Sicily. She is
Yes,
the reason I will not visit Sicily.
That's exactly right. Gareth, can you please stop showing us old family videos? So my parents had my 2 little nephews staying with them because my brother and sister-in-law were in the Kruger Park as well. And so the boys were there. And my parents thought it would be a good idea to show them old family movies, right? Well, it took the boys like 15 minutes. And they were like, that's enough, thanks.
Just bored.
Oh, yeah.
Just horrified. What?
No, well, I mean, it's not entertainment compared to the kind of stuff that they can see on YouTube.
No,
now.
because it's unedited. It's
Yeah, it's like jumpy
long-winded,
footage and
sound
stuff
as
my
shit.
grandfather recorded of, like, you know, a plane taking off
Yeah.
and a plane landing again and shit like that. And my parents are like, isn't that exciting? And they're like, no, not really.
No.
We don't need to see that. So I don't know whether they'll have any, I don't even know if they'll keep that material and look after it. Probably it'll just go thrown on the rubbish dump.
Is it on VHS?
No, it's on DVD
Oh,
because they had it digitized.
Oh, so they made the effort.
Yeah, because it used to be on 8mm film.
Oh, wow. Well, then it'll be
No,
kind of
my
grainy
grandfather.
and-
So the funniest thing about that is I watched it a 20 years ago or whatever. And
you weren't subjected to the session.
no, I especially avoided it, actually. I was invited, but I said, no, thanks. So an interesting thing about that is my grandmother died when I was probably about 11. And I had forgotten how she sounded. And then I heard this voice of hers on the video. And it was kind of cool. Like, it was interesting. And also the accent, because she was born in Jamaica, but she had this very English accent, right? So it was nice to hear her voice and then my grandfather's voice narrating the thing. I won't say that it was like a Marvel superhero movie, but it was kind of cool because you see, I saw my mother and father when they were very young in motion picture as opposed to just photographs, which was cool. I mean, that in those days, for my grandparents to have been like recording stuff on 8mm, that was like
That's a
state
big
of the
thing.
art, right?
Yeah.
So the fact that we've even got that is very cool.
Well, if they were talking on it, great. And
Yeah.
if your grandmother didn't sound like that hell
No,
vixen
she,
from
she didn't
from
sound
Sicily.
like that woman from Visit Sicily. I love the way that is what they used to market Sicily. Just show it again and look at the Visit Sicily thing in the corner. A curse possessed by the demon. Oh my god. Okay, all right.
I love the
All right, that's
resting
enough.
bitch face that she has after delivering that shriek.
A cursed, possessed, the devil has taken over your mind. That's what she's saying in Italian. But yes, it doesn't make me want to go to Sicily either.
It's probably ever something trivial, the fact that she wants gluten-free pasta because she's got some problems.
it might be something very small. Like she went to the nail salon and they used the wrong like shade of pink.
No, like you're not watching the football later or something.
Yeah. Or you're not supporting Napoli. Why the fuck you? I love seeing people who are super, super angry because they forget that they're now being recorded. And that's forever, right? So when you're at your worst, because let's just face it. I mean, if you recorded me when I'm having a real bad time and I'm shouting at somebody, I'm going to look appalling.
Yes.
And I'm gonna it's gonna haunt me for the rest of my life. And that woman's probably she's got grandkids or whatever, and they go to nonna, and they sit in her lap and she plays games and she like makes them laugh and do. But now if they see that, they'll be like, fuck, she's an evil bitch. There's no way we want to go to Nonna this weekend. Oh man. All right, here's something else that I want you to see. Now, The Sound of Music, well-known movie, right?
Julie Andrews.
And who else was in it? That
Some spoiled kids.
yeah, a whole bunch of there was the fun trap children.
Yeah.
And Julie Andrews sings things like "High on a hill was a lonely goat herd." But you didn't know this about The Sound of Music.
They're talking about the movie The Sound of Music. And this person says, I told my mom to watch out for the Reverend Mother calling Maria a bleep face, and she hasn't stopped laughing since. Okay, roll the clip.
Maria, our abbey is not to be used as an escape. What is it you can't face?
Maria, our abbey is not to be used as an escape. What is it you can't face? I do love it. All right, so this there she is again.
You can't face.
It's quite a
And
burn,
the way she goes.
It was quite a burn. She was
Afterwards.
crippled by that.
Yeah, she was totally like, Jesus, Reverend Mother. It's that completely unnecessary. Oh man. I'm gonna try not to fuck up the joke, but there's this joke about these kids at the Catholic school, and the Pope's coming to visit. And the Mother Superior goes to the class beforehand, and she says, now listen, the Pope's coming to visit. And when he says hello, you say, hello, Your Holiness. And he'll ask you to spell a word, and you choose something easy, and you go, I can spell cat, and you C-A-T, and he'll say, very well done. Keep it calm. And they put little Jesus right at the back of the class, right? Because he's Mexican, but his name is Jesus. It's going to cause trouble, all kind of shit. Anyway, little Jesus is very badly behaved. And because they're not Spanish, they call him Jesus. But now the Pope's coming, so they're like, okay, well, we've just got to be on our best behavior. Anyway, Pope walks into the class. They all bow down, Your Holiness, Your Holiness. And he says, hello, children. How very nice to see you. They say, thank you, Your Holiness. And he points to little Lizzie, and she stands up, and he goes, what's your name? And my name is Lizzie, and I can spell cat. C-A-T. Very well done, Lizzie. Very, very good. Anyway, they go to the next kid. And what is your name? My name is Johnny, and I can spell hat. H-A-T. And the Pope goes, very, very good. And then inevitably, Mother Superior's playing with her rosary and fucking hoping that the Pope's not going to choose him. But obviously the Pope chooses Jesus. And he stands up and he goes, my name is Jesus, and I can spell chrysanthemum. And the Mother Superior goes, Jesus, you can't. And the Pope goes, Christ, woman, give the child a chance. All right. If you know a guy, and funnily enough, I actually heard from somebody in the last 2 weeks whose girlfriend had a T-shirt made of her face on it. Oh, Here is an example of how bad that can get. This is when you know you're in psycho territory and you need to get the hell out. By the way, we haven't even done sport yet. We've got to get to that. But look, there's the crazy girlfriend. There's her face enlarged enormously on him. Look how happy he looks, by the way. And it says on the shirt, if you are reading this, you are too close. I have a girlfriend.
Look, let's not be too hasty on the judgment here. She looks attractive. He doesn't.
Jesus, he looks happy.
She looks nice in person. The face and the shirt, though.
Wow. She had that shirt made, huh?
Yeah, it's weird how, she actually looks much better in real life. She actually looks nice in real life. The shirt is horrific.
She actually looks like that friend of ours, Makita.
Yeah, she does actually, right, yeah.
She does, and she's also crazy.
She could also make a shirt.
Yeah, she could make a shirt. Sure. I feel very sorry for that dude.
It's an interesting meme because it's not like any other guy hasn't done that before.
What do you mean?
Well, this is what happens when you stick your dick in crazy.
Yes, no.
Most guys, that's your 20s, right?
Yeah, Patrick says he looks like he's going to off himself. By the way, that is not Liam Payne from One Direction.
Yeah.
What do the producers go? Oh, you guys, you're such pussies in that production booth. You really are.
Offended.
You know what they do? They sit there and they go, oh, whenever we say anything controversial. Fucking millennials and Gen Zs.
I hate that phrase too soon. Topical is what the best.
Please, man, I could tell an Amelia Earhart joke and they'll still go, oh, too soon.
If you don't strike while the iron's hot in life, you're missing out.
Amelia Earhart
joke. Stop saying too soon.
The Titanic, ooh, too soon. What's wrong with you two? You're such pussies. You really are. All right, let's do some sport, Ben. We've only got a few minutes left. Or do you want to wait until 7?
I'm easy, I'm comfy.
Let's wait. I got some more funny shit to show you. All right, so here Here is Tourette's in Scottish. Now, Tourette's is
The
obviously
best accent for Tourette.
all right. So it is the best accent because it already sounds angry. Oh no! Here comes Clyde or Fergus. Fergus has got this Tourette's. You've got to watch him. He's hilarious. So here he is. Here's Fergus or whatever his name is. Tourette's in Scottish. I do think Tourette's is hilarious, and I will not be made to feel shameful about that. I've met one person when we were at varsity. She had a nervous tick. She would go occasionally, but she didn't like swear. And I still want to meet a proper swearing Tourette's person, and I want to make them my best friend and go everywhere with them because I think it would be the most entertaining thing imaginable. Anywhere, airports, restaurants, everywhere I would go, I would take this best friend of mine who swears with Tourette's.
But you know, like that thing, I think it was a South Park episode. Cartman wanted to do it, and then she developed it, and he couldn't get rid of it anymore. So you should never try.
I don't want to be the person with.
I'm just saying because people are now going to want to be your best friend, so they're going to try and get Tourette's to be your best friend.
No,
All
because
I'm saying is that
you see, I can also change best friends if it becomes troublesome after a while.
I'm just trying to caution people not to try and get Tourette's because you might actually.
No, I mean, I in my imagination, I think it would be very entertaining, but maybe after 2 days, it wouldn't be. Here's the Scottish Tourette's guy.
I'm trying my best to hold it in. Shagging! Fuck off! Sorry.
John's Tourette weekend gets underway with a relaxation session.
Picture in your mind a beautiful green field.
I'm up to my knees in fucking cow part.
Is there a wind? And when you're ready, if you get up from the recliner.
It's going to be.
Johnny Davidson. Okay. Chopper dyed his pubes ginger.
Just go through the list. Don't shoot the lesson.
It's a Japs eye.
If he could meet somebody who could look beyond the Tourette's symptoms, that he would be able to find somebody that he could kind of get on with and settle in with.
Another day, man.
A night out with one of those guys would be amazing.
I agree. It would be very entertaining. I see Johnny has an MBE.
For being a fucking legend at the pub.
Yeah. Janine says, Gareth, we're friends. I always have Tourette's in the car. Well, then I need to travel with you in the car, J9. That's a lot of fun. I would like to, or listen, I know people who get road rage, very different to Tourette's. But there is something very funny about Tourette's in Scottish, right?
That would be so
funny. It does
funny.
appeal to me.
It would be so funny if your Tourette's is so like niche that your Tourette's is foul Portuguese, or you break into really malicious Russian. You can't speak the language, but those words are in your head. That
and it always comes out at the worst possible moment.
Yeah.
Fucking asshole, prick,
or just like rampant misogyny for no reason.
And you send them into a feminist convention and just watch what happens.
That would be a real superpower to be able to cast Tourette's on someone. The Harry Potter thing, and you can cast Spanish Tourette's onto someone.
Oh yeah, this reminds me of the joke about the guy who's walking along the beach. It's my favorite Afrikaans joke, so you have to tell it in Afrikaans, right? So these two guys, and they're walking along the beach. I'll do it bilingually. It'll make more sense. And there's a lamp in his sand, and they pick up the lamp, and the guy wrijfs the lamp, and a genie pops out. The genie goes, "Hello." Ek sal vir elkeen van julle 'n wens gee. So I'll give you each a wish. So the first guy, obviously, he's got a huge hunchback, right? And the one guy stutters, the other guy is a hunchback. So the hunchback guy goes, "Kan jy nie vir my help om van hierdie bochel ontslae te raak nie?" So the genie goes, "Yeah, sure, I can get rid of your bochel. Simsalabim," or whatever, and boom, the guy can stand up straight, and he dances around on the beach, and he goes, "Fuck, this is fantastic. This is so amazing. I love this. I'm having the happiest time." The genie turns to the other guy and says, "What can I do for you?" And the guy goes, and he goes, "Ach man, fuck you, kry vir jou bochel."
So
horrible, right? So yes, you could wish Tourette's in someone, or you could just wish them to be a hunchback. Nice and fun. All right, when we come back, we'll have some sport with Ben. We got the Kiffness joining us, which will be loads of fun. And I'll tell you about a Greek man convicted of causing a disturbance by entering properties next to his neighbors to smell their shoes. Lovely, classy bit of Greek behavior for you on this Friday morning. All of that and more. It's just such a smorgasbord. You can't afford to go anywhere. Stick around.
The greatest sports photographs of all time.
Yeah, so it's already been ranked as one of the best. So that picture was actually taken out of awkwardness, and I'll tell you why. I remember kneeling there after this music cuts, and then Sia was supposed to come out, and I'm kneeling there for 20 seconds. I'm going, I don't know what to do. I know people are watching me, but I really do not know what to do next. You know, literally that was going on through my head. Yeah. And then I remember the conversation with Marlon, and I'm like, imagine you're pulling C out the tunnel and you're sending him out. So as he got out, I literally just the spear, and I drew a line as if I'm pulling him out of the tunnel, and I was pointing and shooting him into the crowd. And it only came across that it was planned. It wasn't. It was just me feeling awkward and standing there going, I don't know what else to do with myself.
Stairway to Stardom.
Welcome back to the Stairway to Stardom.
Look at that fantastic logo too, with all that glitter. It's so great. It's good to be alive. It's good that it's Friday. And I've got to say, I saw an auctioneer in action yesterday at this dinner that I was at, the fundraiser. Those guys are specialized, huh?
They really are.
The good
Such
ones,
a skill.
this guy was so good. And he managed to, he just knew exactly where to pitch the thing, how much to take it up, speak fast, speak slow. They're sellers. They're incredible sellers. And if you've ever seen a bad auctioneer, you'll know the difference is enormous, right? A bad auctioneer, they go, who wants this Osturant signed
PT pant,
framed PT pant? It's signed, but it's not an authentic Osturant signature, but it's a signature of Osturant. And you're like, what's the difference? No, there's a certificate of authenticity. We're going to start at 50,000 Rand. 50,000 Rand, 50,000 Rand. Nobody, right? Crickets. So he goes, all right, 10,000 Rand.
And then, cheap, man.
And then still no one said crickets. And then he eventually goes, all right, 1,000 Rand. And someone at the back, their wife, puts their hand up for them or whatever. And he goes, 1,000 Rand or 1,500 Rand. The guy's like, no. 1,500. Where's my coffee, James? I demand. Good Lord. It's so hard to find good servants these days. It really is. All right. So I mentioned we'd get the Kiffness on in a moment or two. I'm very fucking excited about having him back. He has become, I mean, he was always very, very famous and very successful, but he's become like with this Donald Trump video. It was retweeted by everybody. People were sharing it far and wide, and we'll talk to him about that and all the other cool stuff that he's up to. Going to hang with us in a little bit too. Perhaps the best thing we could do right now is get to the sport, because this is what people want. Ben.
Yeah, absolutely.
Give the people what they want.
Because, Gareth, something amazing happened last night.
What?
The Floatiers beat Australia in a World Cup.
That's the women's cricket team.
So it's the women's
Floatiers.
cricket T20 World Cup right now.
Yes.
They made the final 2 years ago in Cape Town. And the Australian team is just amazing. Like they're unbeatable, basically. I think they've made the last 7 World Cup finals. We've lost to them the last 7 times this was the 8th time of playing them in a World Cup. And 8 times the charm because we beat them. But not only that, we hammered them. Like hammered them.
So have they always been good?
Yeah. Look, the Aussies were the trendsetters because a lot of them, the Sheilas actually dated the players.
Sheilas.
And they were always so good.
Are they called the Sheilas?
No,
I wish they would. Wouldn't it be great if the Australian women's team was called the Sheilas?
They should be.
I mean, that would be so good.
It would be funny, but then again, there's no humor anymore. But the thing about them is that they've been good for a long time. So they've had a lot of continuity with selections and resources. And now our women are the same. You get the same kind of faces that can be going to a few tournaments. And now they're in the final after beating Australia. It's hectic. Like, it's a really big deal.
Good.
So they'll take on either the winner of the New Zealand or West Indies. They play their semi-final today.
Nice.
And that final will be on Sunday. So 4 o'clock on a Sunday before the F1, because F1's in America this week. You can watch the Floatiers versus New Zealand or...
So you're recommending we should watch this?
Well, it's a big game on Sunday because the first time... So if you look at the last 2 years, South Africa, the Proteas, Cricket Nation, we've made 3 finals now. We lost 2 of them. Australia absolutely outplayed the women in Cape Town. We completely fucked it in the West Indies, the men's team. So, yeah, this is a good chance we have of lifting a proper ICC trophy.
Fantastic.
There's also URC on this weekend, which is hugely exciting. The Stormers and the Sharks are back home. The Sharks have a Bok-laden team, which I'm not entirely sure will automatically translate to a huge win. So they're playing against Glasgow at 4:45 at the Shark Tank. Look, the Sharks.
Sorry, I saw Congo Chris. Hit the like button, you ungrateful turds. It's only on 50. Get on there. Like, I like this. I'm putting Congo Chris in charge of the comment section for at least the next 6 weeks. In fact, until the end of the year. Congo Chris is now, sorry, Ruth, you are no longer the chairperson of the comment section. It is now Congo Chris because I like his aggressive approach.
Yes.
Hit the like button, you turds.
Very nice.
Sorry, Ben, I interrupted.
Yeah, so the Sharks will be taking on Glasgow. Glasgow, of course, won the URC last year. They're pretty solid. They've had a good start. Earlier, the Lions will be going to Zebre in Parma in Italy. Now, Zebre, I know they beat Munster, but they're shite. So 1:30, that game will be on. And if the Lions win this one, then they're currently unbeaten. They've had some tour games. Granted, easier tour games, but what a start from the Lions. It really is always an exciting team to watch. I always believe it's every South African second team just because they're such fun oaks.
Yeah.
They really are great to play. So great to watch. Tonight, the Bulls will be taking on the Scarlets.
What's that?
It's a bunch of Welshmen.
Oh.
So, yeah, they'll be taking them on tonight, 8:35.
Coal miners are singing a choir.
Coal miners and farmers and self-tan proprietors.
I heard the most brilliant thing. David Starkey, who's a historian, said that Welsh is an unrehabilitated medieval language, that it is pointless to study because all of their terms for modernity are actually just English words. And there is no use or reason for anyone to study Welsh. And it's actually, he says, a reason that so many Welsh children fall behind everyone else in the British Isles when it comes to comprehension, because they're wasting their time learning this stupid fucking language that has too many L's and F's in it.
Oh, it's dead on.
Very sensible.
I mean,
now I wonder in this country, here's a controversial thought, how many stupid, unnecessary languages that haven't adapted to modernity we still carry along that we should actually just get rid of, because it's actually holding people back from learning English properly.
Modernity is the key word there.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't have a word for university, for example,
yeah,
and your derivation of the word in whatever language sounds something like university. It's not a real language.
So I think we should pick this up with Rita Luntman in weeks to come, Gareth. I think we should get back to the sport now, though.
Sorry, Ben.
So, then the big one for Stormers fans, Marnie Lipboek's just been married, so he's going to play again. Just got married to his childhood sweetheart, I think it was. The Stormers versus Munster at 6 on Saturday. That is your big game. Premier League's back. Huge one on Sunday. Liverpool at home to Chelsea. Now, Chelsea again. Gevaarlijk with the ball by the foot going forward. They're exciting. They got attacking orifices all over the place. But who have they played so far in the season is what you would probably say. So that'll be at 5:30 on Sunday. Wolves will be getting hammered by Man City prior to that at 3. And then Saturday, Man United are, I mean, we all know they're shite. They're lower tier club. They'll be taking on Brentford at 4. And the beautiful thing about Man United is like, when you hit rock bottom, you only go up.
No, you can keep on digging.
Man United will find a way. But I feel like they are so rock bottomy right now that they probably will bounce back against one of these low league teams. Brentford could take a clap, or they could have a great day out and absolutely plunge these Oaks into pure depression. Bournemouth will be hosting Arsenal at 6:30 on Saturday. Also another really big game there. There's the Carling Knockout Cup that's taking place. That's the old Telkom Cup.
Yes.
So it's the PSL's version of the Carabao Cup, basically. All the teams go into a cup competition.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say it's hugely exciting. There's a lot of other stuff going on to go. Tonight, Ambazulu will be taking on Stellenbosch at 7. Pirates will be taking on Magesi at 3 tomorrow, because Pirates are cup favorites. They're really good. Sundowns will be taking on Golden Arrows at 6. And then Supersport United versus Chiefs. Those are your sort of 3 major games for Saturday. And there's obviously Formula One. So it's at the Circuit of Americas in Austin, Texas. That'll take place from 9 o'clock Sunday night. So because of the time zone, obviously it's much more delayed and a lot later. Is it a good race? I don't know. Like America, Formula One, I know it's new. They're trying hard. But it doesn't have the sort of pedigree and the sort of real gravitas that the other ones have. But it's still, McLaren are doing really, really well. They got the best cars. Can Max fend off these young whippersnappers in the orange cars? There are many, many dynamics to enjoy. But that is basically what you got to look forward to in this weekend of sport.
All right, so a couple of things. Feedback for Ben. JP says, Ben, chill, United unbeaten for 2 weeks.
What's the fair?
Gustav van Vieren. Goose says, Sharks are going to murder the Glasgow Warriors with all the Bokke back in their team.
Yeah, but the Sharks are... I agree with you. Like on paper, they should. But how does that team gel? This is the thing. There's so many different people coming in and out. They've had personality clashes. Continuity is a big thing for the Sharks. How many games can they play all their box at full strength?
Carl says, now that Marnie is married, do you think he can finally fucking score?
It's a bit harsh, Carl, but I didn't expect anything less from you.
No.
I think Marnie will go from strength to strength. And with Sasha injured, of course, pretty much the rest of the year, he knows he's got the number 10 jersey to play. He needs to be the number 10 rock for the Stormers because there's so many playmakers, but they just need him to be the number 10.
Peter Koenig says, fuck F1, our own Brad Binder in MotoGP never gets mentioned.
Oh, I know, Peter, but also at the same time, it's not like he's winning.
We can't do everything, though.
We can't do everything as well.
Sorry.
MotoGP is quite a hard thing to kind of follow.
Leanne Adams is slavering at the chops for some betting odds here. She says, Ben, who should we bet on this weekend? Huh?
So, Leanne, what I would go with, I would give Glasgow Warriors a handicap because I think that they're going to run the Sharks really, really close.
Okay.
So if you go into that sort of betting markets, I mean, the Sharks are quite low to win. I think they're like 1.3 to win, which in itself is I don't think it's a good bet. Give the Glasgow Warriors a bit of a handicap of like 8.5 plus. You get a decent return, I think.
All right. Enough of the sport because we've got to get to the Kiffness. I am thrilled this guy could join us. He has been touring the world. I mean, he's been all over the place, and his songs are a work of absolute genius. He's created and carved out for himself a genre of music which hitherto had been completely unexplored.
Yeah.
And human creativity had reached its bounds. And then he broke through and he made videos with cats, which people absolutely loved. And then he would take things that people said and loop them and play live music and make the most incredible stuff out of it. And it became an international sensation. And we're thrilled that he could join us this morning. The Kiffness. Hello, dude. How the fuck are you?
I'm great. Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Listen, it's always nice to see you. You look very happy. How are things going?
Yeah, well, I'm a dad now, so I'm up at 6 o'clock. Yeah. I think last time I was on your show, I didn't know it was live recorded with video, and I was in my bed.
I remember that.
It was very embarrassing because it was.
No, you were in your bed.
It was very dark.
But dude,
no, actually, the last time I was with you, I was prepared because I was in America, and it was like I just finished a show or something, because there's like a massive time difference. So that was a lot better.
But haven't you just been touring now? You've been in Europe.
I have been in Europe, but I'm back for the rest of the year. So looking forward to just relaxing and playing some golf and paddle and that kind of thing.
It looks like we keep him there in that box, and that's where he sleeps. The way it looks in the studio here, it's like
It looks like you're actually just peeking through an actual box.
Actually, his captors.
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
All right.
No, loving the new studio.
Oh, thank you.
Looking good.
Yours looks pretty good. Bring him up full screen there. Let me see what's going on in the background with Kiffness. Oh man, look at those YouTube gold and silvers. That's very nice. Or is that platinum?
Yeah, so that's the 100,000 subscriber plaque, and then when you reach 1 million, they give you that one.
Nice.
So now I'm aiming for my diamond play button, which is 10 million. I'm still quite a way to go for that.
So what's the thing that's got you the most views this far?
Well, with the Donald Trump song, I'd never seen a video get 1 million views per day for a whole week.
Wow.
That was quite something to see. So yeah, it took off really quickly. It's kind of tapering off a bit now.
Yeah.
But as we speak, I think it was probably one of the first internet collabs that I'd made. It was with the Turkish guy playing the drum. He was singing a Finnish folk song called Ivan Polka. And then I remixed that. And yeah, I think it's got like 60 million views now or something.
That's amazing. And that's the one where you took the clip of Trump going, eating the dogs, eating the cats.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, I love
and that song's just, I mean, it's been such an unexpected hit because, you know, your manager would tell you don't get political in your show.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And there we are putting Donald Trump on a big screen and playing this ridiculous song, and people were just loving it. So we took a risk and it paid off because people from both sides seem to be just enjoying it. Probably for different reasons.
You don't strike me as someone who takes instructions from managers about what to say and not to say. I mean, you're very vocal on social media. We've spoken to you before. You got into trouble a couple of years ago for the first time with a very serious thing, Ekurhuleni, and then since then, it seems to me you've been free. You've been released. You don't give a damn anymore. You say what you think, and you've discovered that freedom is the most valuable thing in the world.
No, for sure. And I mean, during COVID, I was doing a lot of political satire, and it was fun at the time. And then it actually stopped becoming fun because I felt like, you know, the mayor of Ekurhuleni was coming after me, the media was coming after me, and it was just becoming a bit too much. Like at the time, probably had a bit of a thin skin. I learned how to develop a thick skin, probably like you have. You brush stuff off and don't really pay attention to it. But at the time, it wasn't fun anymore. You know, I was getting death threats from
no, sure.
Mostly,
I just want to point out
that
that mayor of Ekurhuleni, nobody knows what's happened to him. He is not important at all in the world anymore. And here you are. You've survived. So
yeah, it's funny how the world works. And you know, I think if you're gonna spend your time, you know, creating witch hunts on musicians that are just making songs, then
pathetic.
You know, you're going to become unimportant in one way or another. So yeah, I think the energy
David,
that you put out eventually is going to be the energy that you receive at the end of the day.
No, I know. And you're not the kind of guy who's looking to fight with anyone. I mean, I've had a number of conversations with you. You don't strike me as someone who's like looking for someone to be angry with. I just want to go back to your Trump song quickly because I loved it. But you had some retweets and some shares, and pretty famous people. I mean, like really like well known. Do you know whether Donald Trump got to see it or not?
I'm pretty sure he's seen it. A lot of people have said, he's probably going to use it at one of his rallies or something like that, but I haven't seen anything as of yet. But a lot of his sort of close henchmen, I think, have retweeted it, and a lot of political commentators. So I'm pretty sure he's seen it, and I'd like to think that, he would take it well. Like, I think
so.
One of the good qualities about Trump is that I don't think he takes himself or what people say too seriously, and I'm pretty sure he would have had a good laugh when he saw it.
I mean, there's that video of a skit that he did in Saturday Night Live where he plays the plumber who's coming to like do something in his apartment, and the guy playing Donald Trump has got this terrible wig on, and he's making fun, and Trump himself now as the plumber goes, "Who decorated this place? Liberace?" And he's like, he's rude about himself. He's like taking himself super not seriously. I don't see how everybody who hates him so much can't watch that and go, wow, okay, this guy actually has an ability that I don't have, in that he can laugh at himself, and I can't see that I'm the most serious, boring person in the world. Are there people who have shared your stuff that make you particularly proud? I mean, like people that you follow, that you're really a big fan of, or people that you pay attention to? Because I mean, it was shared widely, dude. It's, as you said, 60 million views already.
Yeah, I mean, people that stand out. Scott Adams, the creator of Dilbert, he shared it. Who else? I thought Morgan Freeman had retweeted it, but it was actually Morgan Freeman, who is a movie director, which is still cool.
Oh, that's all right.
But yeah, that just from his reshare alone, that got like 20 million views on Twitter.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, I got 50 million views in a day. I'd never seen anything like that.
So is this more than any of the cat ones?
I think collectively from Twitter, TikTok, and all of that, I think it's probably gotten more views than any cat video that I've ever made. But yeah, I think what makes it special is the fact that, I went from making political satire to moving away from that when it wasn't fun anymore, to doing something that was just completely non-political, making cat songs and remixing Turkish guys singing Finnish folk songs, to then finding a video of Donald Trump, which is political, talking about cats and dogs. So it felt like these two worlds that I had dabbled in were colliding in the most unexpected way. And yeah, I think it was just the merging of two worlds that I kind of separated, and they just came together and exploded.
I love it, because even though it's gimmicky, you're a really talented musician, and you're able to work with such unbelievable inputs that, I mean, most people would never think of using those things, sampling them and being able to inject them and tune them, transpose them to whatever the right key is, make it work. You're really, really brilliant. I love it. And by the way, let me just add this in for those people who are not already fans of yours, because this will tip them over. You raised over $100,000 for humanitarian aid in Ukraine with that song that you did for them. What was that, like 3 years ago or something? That's phenomenal, man.
Yeah, I mean, when you're dealing with something that's political or with war, like it doesn't feel right to monetize that yourself. So with a topic like that, I'd just from the onset, I'd said, I don't want to make a cent from this. We are obviously in touch with Andri, the guy who sang the song. For those of you who haven't seen the song, basically this guy, he was the lead singer, or he is the lead singer of a band called Boombox, which is famous in Ukraine, and they were on tour in the US. And then when the war broke out, they canceled the tour, and he came back and basically became a soldier. And there's a video of him singing this famous Ukrainian song, which is Oyu Luzi Chervona Kalina, which is a very famous Ukrainian folk song. and he's singing it in this famous spot in Kiev.
Mm-hmm.
And people started sending me this video, and I was just struck by, you know, how well he sang it and just the story behind it. And so we reached out to them, and you know, asked if it was okay if we did this song, and you know, where we should put the funds. And so we decided, you know, it's going to go to humanitarian aid for the armed forces in Ukraine. So,
amazing. That's amazing.
So food or bandages and all that kind of thing, that's where the money went to. And it became like this unofficial anthem in Ukraine and around the world, which was just amazing to see, seeing it being played in bunkers and seeing it being played in Trafalgar Square and just all over the place. So it was quite special. And, you know, I just got messages from people around the world, especially in Ukraine, just saying the song has really lifted their spirits and has helped them through quite a dark time.
I love it. So, all right, where have you been on your tour this year? Which countries did you go to? Any strange and bizarre places that you haven't been before?
We went to Kazakhstan.
Nice.
No way.
Yeah.
Yes. Tell me about Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan, greatest country in the world. All other country run by little girls. Right?
So the first thing that I learned is to just never mention Borat.
No.
Because they absolutely hate Borat in Kazakhstan. When I announced the show, you know, the first thing that comes to every South African's mind is Borat when you think of Kazakhstan. So
sure,
I put a little stick of Borat saying he's nice, and I've got a song called Very Good, Very Nice, and I played that in the background with the announcement, and I got so much hate from people in Kazakhstan saying, "What are you doing? Like, why are you using Borat? This guy's racist." And so. Yeah, like I'd heard that the movie was banned in Kazakhstan, Borat, but I also heard that they used the slogan "Very Nice" as their tourism campaign. So I saw this video where they're showing like the beautiful nature of Kazakhstan, like the beautiful food that you can eat, and the guy's saying, "Come to Kazakhstan, it's nice." So they actually adopted the slogan. So I thought maybe it's safe to do it, but no, they absolutely hate Borat.
So when you perform in Kazakhstan, like what kinds of venues do they have, and what is the crowd like?
So it was a big festival. We're actually opening for Die Antwoord and another guy called Oliver Tree.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was just like a normal festival, outdoor. I mean, it's not really how Borat portrays it, which is probably why they hate Borat so much, because the whole world just knows Kazakhstan is this like weird place. And yeah, it's an interesting country. They're a very proud nation. You know, Kazakhs are a mixture of Russian and I think, forgive me if I'm wrong, but like Mongolian.
Yes,
is like
that's
Mongolian
correct.
Influence.
They were basically they were on the old Silk Road, and Genghis Khan made his way through there, raping and pillaging and burning and destroying, and he left descendants all over Central Asia. So you got Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, and Afghanistan.
All the other stans.
All the stans. Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's pretty,
so, I mean,
it's pretty cool to have like a Kazakhstan stamp in your passport, huh?
No, it's definitely a feather in the cap that I never
For sure.
expected. But
did you see anything at all that was like Borat?
I mean, next to the backstage, there were like a few sort of rundown looking huts.
Goats.
And I even thought about taking like a little Instagram story there and pretending to do like a Borat skit, but I thought, no, I better not.
So next to the backstage area, there were huts and maybe some domestic animals.
Yeah, but I hope there's no one from Kazakhstan watching this, because I'm going to get hate all over again.
If there's someone from Kazakhstan watching, you are not the one they're going to be pissed off with. It'll be all about how much they hate me. Don't you worry. I take every opportunity to make fun of every country. We're equal opportunity offenders.
Is Kazakhstan like and countries like that places you want to go to, or it just happens to be that your management has connections, or there's a big desire? Like, how do you choose countries to tour to?
So I think how this gig happened was the promoter, I think, initially wanted to get us to play in Ukraine, but my manager was like, not while there's a war going on, which is fair enough. So we were already on this promoter's radar, but this festival just came up, and my manager just said, "You want to play in Kazakhstan?" And I was like, "Yeah, why not?"
Yeah, sure.
So that's just pretty much how it happened, and I think when the war's over in Ukraine, we'll probably do a show there, and
live a little, go there while it's still hot. I mean,
danger pay. As long as they give me danger pay, I'll think about it.
No, wouldn't it be cool to say, I went into an actual war zone? You remember, like the what did they call those people who used to go out with the services? The Americans, they'd send out singers and actors to entertain the soldiers,
like military camps.
Yeah, and then you could entertain the soldiers.
They call it USO shows.
USO, that's right. USO, and you'd have like whoever, Petula Clark.
Yeah, there are strippers too.
When you're alone and life is making you lonely, you can always go downtown. That's that's the kind of shit. Come on, do it, man. It would be amazing.
It'll take a lot of convincing from my wife's side, but
no, hang on. Actually, I take it back. You're a dad now. No, it's not.
Since I became a dad, I went to Ukraine.
No, that's not a good story. Like if you're going to do it before that, that's fine. You're expendable, but now you're kind of important. So this dad thing, what apart from the waking up and the not sleeping, what are the best and the worst parts of it?
The best part, I would say, is, when you become a father, you almost think that you're going to be the one that teaches your child you're going to be the teacher, but the child actually is the teacher for you.
Wow.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like my whole worldview has shifted completely. And also just leading up to becoming a dad, I think it was probably the most creative I'd ever been in my entire life. It was just like this newfound purpose, I think. Sort of leading up for those 9 months when my wife was pregnant, I was putting out a new song every day or every week for 9 months straight.
Wow, dude.
And it wasn't even, it didn't even feel like work. I just had this like insane creative drive. I
love that.
It was just purely because I knew that, I wouldn't have this much free time when I became a dad. So there was that element where I just thought, let me just pump out as many videos as I can while I can.
Yeah.
But I also just felt like I wanted to make stuff that my son could watch one day and, could be, proud that this is his dad. And that's the great thing about the internet is, once you put something out, it lives there and it's almost like your legacy in a way. So when I'm gone,
if you're putting out quality stuff like you are, sure. Putting out rubbish, it's also the most embarrassing place in the world. And the worst, is there a worst?
The worst part, I would say, is being on tour. I think if I was single and touring the world, it would probably be quite fun. These days,
you could have found a second wife in Kazakhstan.
I still enjoy touring, but I just miss my wife and my kid so much when I'm on the road. but we've got FaceTime and that kind of thing. Which
Just to go back to touring for a second, like which country do you think has the most fanatical fans? Like which country has the people who are the most fanatical? Have we lost him? Oh, there he is. Okay, cool.
That's probably Germany.
That's what I was thinking you might go Germany. Those Germans, huh?
Yeah, especially like the biggest cities like Berlin. Berlin's just
wild,
like a crazy, weird place, and I love it. And yeah, every time I play in Berlin, people are just singing the cat songs out loud, and no one cares. Yeah, it's just it's always a cool vibe. But yeah, pretty much everywhere we went, people were waiting for the Trump song, and like it was just something surreal.
Wouldn't it be great?
Like,
wouldn't it be great if Donald Trump at night before he goes to sleep listens to that song and Melania, I'm going to play it again. I haven't heard it enough today. I'm playing it again. I don't care if you've had enough. I haven't. I would love that.
It's the perfect rally song. He's obviously going to like save it until like the nitty gritty, the final stretch.
It's like what's 18 days to go. You better hurry up. And would you get royalties from that? Like if he suddenly played your song at a rally, would you be paid for that?
Yeah, I think so. But again, with political stuff, I wanted to make sure that I'm not making any money from this. So every cent that we make, we're sending to the SPCA in Springfield, Ohio. So yeah, from YouTube alone, it's made over $50,000 so far. We're still waiting for the streaming numbers. And then, yeah, when it comes to royalties, I'm not sure how it works exactly, but I would get paid directly.
Nice.
But with everything else, YouTube and Spotify, it's all going to a separate SPCA account.
That's incredible.
I heard Congo Chris said here in the comments, he says, that's not creativity. When my wife was pregnant, I also did whatever I could to avoid her. So. And Naked Goose says, Elon needs to walk out on that song at rallies. So yeah, there's an idea. Say what you want. Germans get pretty fanatical. Yes, and in history, that's probably about right. What's the local audience like at the moment? Are they still looking after you and kind of being supportive and sharing your stuff everywhere? Is that still the biggest base for this, or is it now? Are you mostly an international star now?
Yeah, I mean, if the opportunity came up to do a show in South Africa that maybe I haven't done or that I'd want to do, obviously I'll take it up. But most of the shows are overseas these days. It's just it makes sense more financially, and there's like a touring circuit when you go to the US or Europe. You can kind of stop city by city and make your way. Here there's maybe Cape Town, Joburg, and maybe Durban.
Yeah, but Durban's always a disaster. Like Durban never, they just don't do anything. Durban doesn't do anything. And then they complain, oh, nothing ever happens here. Guys, why don't we get anything? But they don't do anything. They don't support stuff.
I mean, it's quite sad. When I was starting out, like we actually did quite a few shows in Durban. They had some really cool venues, and the Botanical Gardens was always a cool place to play. One of my first big shows was opening for Goldfish, the Durban Bot Gardens, and it was like seriously a really cool vibe. But yeah, it just seems to not be as happening as it used to be.
Who still gives you shit online? Because you are quite outspoken. I mean, I follow you and I love it. I often will share stuff that you put up. And sometimes it's not like you're looking for attention or you're being overtly political. It's just something happens and you have something to say about it, which frankly, I think it's like that is the reason that you should want to have freedom of expression, is so that you can share your thoughts. Other people know where you stand on certain issues. Certain stuff you said just now when you became a dad, your worldview changed. So, like, what matters to you enough for you to actually get involved on social media? And what have you learned? Like, it's not worth getting involved in that.
So, like, this Trump song's been really interesting in that, for the most part, both sides have enjoyed it. And I think the magic ingredient has been the fact that, you know, it's for a common cause that anyone can get around. Everyone loves cats and dogs. And so the fact that the money made is going to the SPCA, like, everyone is for that. Cool. And I guess that's maybe just through experience, knowing when you're using a figure as polarizing as Donald Trump, if you want to unify people, make it about animals. You know? And it just came together in a really nice way. But what's also interesting is that on the sort of like extreme Democrat side, you have people thinking that I'm really trying my best to make fun of Donald Trump, and they think this is like an anti-Trump song. And then on the sort of MAGA side, you just have people thinking, you know, this is just a great song, and this is going to, you know, win the election for Donald Trump, whatever. Then for the most part, it's people in the middle who are maybe left-leaning or right-leaning, who just see it as a funny song and think it's great that it's raising money for the SPCA. And
do you think, because now it turns out that when he said that, it was fact-checked very quickly, and they said, oh, no, it's not happening. But it turns out it is happening. And there are actually immigrants in that particular town who have been roasting like ducks and cats and dogs on the streets. So it's actually happened.
Yeah, I mean, I think when the sort of there was a person who talked about their pet going missing, and it ended up not being true. I think the media focused on that in particular and said it's been debunked.
Yeah.
And it kind of frustrated me because, the media were putting me in this box. It was fascinating to see with every story that was coming out. They were sharing the song, which was great, but it always was with the opening statement saying the Kiffness made a remix on the now debunked claim that animals being eaten. And I was like, hang on. You can't just say it's now debunked, because when you put 20,000 people from a country where the culture is to eat cats, and you put them in a place where there are lots of dogs,
they're eating the cats. They are.
So,
do you have pets?
So, I do have pets, and my cat actually went missing.
Oh, fuck!
At around the time, we don't have 20,000 immigrants walking around where we live, but my cat likes to go missing when I go on tour. It's almost like a protest. She says, "Well, if you're going to leave, I'm going to leave," and then, you know, my wife has to run around trying to find this cat. But it's an interesting one because, you know, I think it is absurd and a bit crazy that in a presidential debate, Trump would say something like that.
It's lunacy. Yeah. It's lunacy, but it might be fucking true. I love it. The Congo Chris is here. He wants to give you a compliment. He says, David, thank you for making the world a funnier place. Never stop what you do. That's nice.
I appreciate it, man. I'll try.
So I want to play you something because we saw this clip and we were very inspired, and we thought this might lead, because you've got a very creative brain, might lead to you being inspired as well. They don't do shows with theme tunes anymore, and Ben and I were both bemoaning this.
We need to bring it back.
Yeah, we need to bring back theme tunes. I mean, this is the theme tune for a show called what?
Stairway to Stardom.
Stairway to Stardom from the 70s. Just watch this, David. Tell me what you think.
Because Stairway to Stardom is next with Frank Massey.
the stairway to stardom. You see tomorrow starts today on the stairway to stardom. We're here to brighten up your day. We've got singers and dancers and actors performing for you. But there's more, so much more, and it's all right here for you. On the stairway to stardom, we'll entertain with talent and style. On the stairway to stardom, we've got the other shows beat by a mile. On the stairway to stardom, on the stairway to stardom. On the stairway to stardom. On the stairway to stardom. On the stairway to stardom.
Dance moves too.
Isn't that great?
I think that's great.
Funky, huh?
Catchy.
What a song.
Stairway to stardom.
There we go. You see,
Yes.
it's already
I love
working.
it.
No, but I mean,
Maybe
it's,
a remix.
It saddens me that all these TV shows don't have theme tunes like we used to have in the old days. I mean, you know,
There was a lot of effort that went into it.
Yeah.
But that was also because people watched every second of a show.
Yes, that's right. Somebody says in the comments here that the host of Stairway to Stardom was Ron Jeremy, the porn star.
And that was his stairway.
Oh, man.
No, I mean,
All right.
yeah. No, if you think of, I don't know, Stranger Things, I mean, that's a great tune.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like a synthy, weird song. I'm trying to think, when was the last time there was like a really good theme tune? Yeah, I think it was like the thing in the 90s maybe. And like the cartoons, like the cartoon theme songs.
Yes, those are the ones
good.
we loved. They just don't make them like that anymore. Do you scour the internet for stuff? Do people send you stuff? Or is it just a question of like being in the right mood and something hits and then you're like, this is what I'm going to use?
Yeah, I'd say about 90% of the songs that I make are from people sending me stuff either on Instagram, DM, or email, or just, yeah, any social media platform. I just look at what people are sending me, and yeah, I feel like I do have to kind of be in the right mood. Coming back from tour now, I don't really want to make anything until, I don't know, maybe December.
No, I don't blame you.
Yeah, but I save all the stuff that people send me. I just save it into like a little collection box, and then if I'm in the mood, I'll go back to the things that people have sent and just see if I'll just throw stuff against the wall and see what sticks.
Listen, dude, I absolutely love talking to you, and I love what you're doing, and I couldn't agree more with all these comments that say just please keep doing it. It's awesome. And lots of love with your new bubba and your happy family. And I hope you continue to just shoot the lights out. Well done, dude.
Thanks, Gareth. And always appreciate your comments and for being an advocate for free speech in this country. And yeah, just being a good guy in general. So keep it up.
Thanks.
And
thank you, man.
you having me.
Thank you, man. Nice to see you, David. There is the Kiffness, everybody. There's the real Stairway to Stardom. No, I mean, like he's just so fucking good, you know.
He is.
He's so good.
You know how rich he could be if he wasn't like outspoken.
I know, he could just shut his mouth and just do the song.
But that's what makes it always more impressive, is that he just does his own thing.
I love it.
That sort of talent in this place, what he could do, performing, writing, producing. But that's not the person he
Grant
is.
says, tell the Kiffness I say meows it. The Kiffness got a lot of backlash for getting government funding during COVID. The Kiffness, did you take issue with Gayton revealing that list? I'm sorry, he's gone. We've already said goodbye to him, Snai, but there we go. All right, I've still got some other stuff to show you just before we go, okay? Because we're having so much fun with the clips this morning.
The Stairway to Stardom 2.
No, there isn't
the one
another
that goes
one.
down.
There isn't. But I do have, and this is terrific. I've always believed this, and I think you brought up the frotiers earlier.
Yeah.
There's some sports that they don't make people look great. We've spoken a lot about marathon runners, long distance runners,
the
right?
worst.
So because it's not me saying this, maybe people will take it more seriously, because what the hell do I know? But if you know someone who does long distance running and she's a pretty young lady, stop her immediately. Immediately stop her. And here's the clip from this dude. He also knows what he's talking about. You don't have to listen to me, listen to him. All right?
Marathon runners are some of the worst looking people you can get. I go on dates with girls, and let's say I go on a date with a 21-year-old, and she looks like she's 24, 25. Before I've even asked her, I know she does like long distance running. And I say, do you like exercise? What do you do? She's like, I run 20 kilometers 10 times a week. And I'm just like, I can tell. You can see it visibly aging. Long distance runners, they look terrible.
Right. Huh?
Any sort of hard cardio like that isn't good. Like the long distance stamina stuff, it really isn't great for you whatsoever.
They get like biltong.
It's going to break down your muscle in the long run because it's so hard to actually maintain that kind of stuff. You need scientific nutrition to basically balance your output with your input. It just weathers you, and all that time in the sun.
Weathering, that's the problem. It's weathering.
So weathered.
Yeah,
because you're literally outside in the elements, and a lot of the time you're just in the sun all the time. Don't tell me sunblock's going to help.
Yeah.
No amounts of peak capping. You're in exposure.
So this weekend, see if you can find the long distance runners.
But they all start looking quite haggard, to be honest with you.
He says you meet a 21-year-old girl and she looks 25. I would venture to say you meet a 21-year-old girl who's a long distance runner. She looks 35.
Yeah.
It's not even a, yeah. I mean, listen, it's difficult.
I mean, Bruce Fordyce would probably look like Liam Hemsworth if it wasn't for running. But, you know, he chose to be a runner and he was good at it. Looks like death, though.
All right, at least you know we're not just being horrible. This is other people's opinion too. Here's an opinion, unpopular opinion. Some people shouldn't be on the Stairway to Stardom. I am not happy with the people who put retarded or intellectually disabled or people who have major difficulties in their life. They record them and they put them on the internet. And we're all expected to say, oh, that's very well done. So brave. But here's an example of, I don't know where, there's a lot wrong with this girl, clearly. She's in a pub somewhere. People aren't even listening to her. You can see that the audience are very, very annoyed that this girl has decided to sing. She's on a microphone. It's terrible singing. And we're all expected to play along. Now, I would say you should not play along. I would say enough of this. We don't need, enough of this having to, like there's someone on, what's that show where they dance with the stars? What's it called?
On Dancing.
That's the one, on BBC or whatever it is. So a friend of mine told me that there's a blind dancer now on the show. Now, I mean, this must be very hard for the dance partner, for starters. Now, I'm not saying blind people shouldn't be able to dance, all right? But that they put this person on the show, they must be extremely strenuous and difficult for the person who's trying to dance with them, who's used to dancing with people who can see. How do you even teach someone? Put your leg here. What's here? How do you do this? It must be, I mean, this is just politically correct nonsense to the nth degree. I'm not saying that there shouldn't be opportunities for these people. I'm certainly not saying that we should exclude them from everything. But this whole inclusion thing has gone too far. Look at the faces of the people in this bar who have to sit through this fucking awful noise from this girl who's clearly got a lot of problems. And she's foisted. That's the word.
Yes.
They foist these people upon us. Stop foisting. Can we just do less foisting? It's fine. Everybody deserves a place. Don't foist. Okay? Let's be anti-foist. Look at this. Look at that man's face. They all fucking hate it. Look, even when I say she fucking hates it. Oh. Look at that. They fucking hate it. Most of the parents also. Look at them. Oh. I mean,
What's with the old woman in the sashes too?
I don't know. They're obviously next.
What
But-
what did they win?
Listen, that clip goes on. I cut it short. I saved you. I'm your messiah this morning. I saved you a lot of pain. That thing goes on for like 4 minutes of that girl wailing into that microphone, foisted upon those. Look at those people's faces in the crowd again. Rewind the fucking video. Go look again.
Again, I think
Tell me if one of them. No. I don't mean you actually have to play it. Please. No, cut. No, cut. I don't want to put people through that again. Why is she being foisted on people in an English pub who probably just want to drink? They want to drink.
Well, they're going to have to now.
Well, I feel that this is an unacceptable level of foisting.
I think what's really unacceptable is that they've used one of the 3 days of summer to foist her on there. Couldn't they just rolled around in, I don't know, November? February?
I just there's no one in that crowd who wants that.
She's a very
There's no one
interesting
there.
shape.
She's an interesting shape, but you know what? At home, really, like it's enough. We've just got to stop this. Why are we encouraging less than mediocre people to perform? We don't need more singers in the world.
So, Gareth, I think it comes down a lot of the time. It's like, oh, but it's just such a story.
It's not a story. They must stop this.
Stories, like everything else, need to be told out of interest, merit, and they become popular through interest. You can't make a story.
Oh.
You can't just suddenly go, this is the story. No, this is just a person. Like a lot of things go into a story to become a story.
Look, you can say I'm horrible. You can say that I'm being mean.
What I will say, Gareth, is that if you were at that pub, you would have loved that.
I would not.
You would have loved the fact that they foisted this on these people, and you would have loved the fact that everyone there hated it so much. You would have had a time of your life witnessing that. Obviously,
now,
not
if
her.
the Tourette's person came in,
a singing
if
spectacle.
the Tourette's person came in while she was singing, I would have. Then I would have had a great time.
The awkwardness in that pub actually makes that a spectacle.
Maybe I do. I do actually like a bit of awkwardness.
You would have been the
You're
one
probably
person
right.
shouting,
Yeah.
"Don't stop, encore!" No, everyone hates it.
Come on, do it again, Candy or whatever your name is. Bring it on.
Sing "Knock on Wood."
Yeah, you're right. You're probably right.
Give requests.
I need to spend some time introspecting about this, perhaps. But don't foist. Okay, very serious. Baptism of fire for a pub singer, says Henry. I just did a 6-kilometer run and that clip literally made me puke. Thanks, Gareth, says Patrick. He's going to look like Biltong by the end of the day.
Yeah, but also that's all Patrick can do. Patrick, is when you go over 20, marathon running is silly.
Yes.
There's no point to it. Really, I mean, unless that's your sport and you make money. But
let's remember how it started, right? Marathon comes from the story of the Battle of Salamis.
Yes.
Where Pheidippides, the Greek, was charged with running to take the news of the Persians who were coming to the army in Sparta. And Pheidippides ran the distance that is today called a marathon. And there's actually a place in Greece called Marathon, and there's a statue of Pheidippides there. But that was 2,300 years ago. It's time to move on. We've got bicycles, we've got cars, we've got spaceships.
We've got phones to transmit news.
No need to run like. Only the evil man runneth when nothing is chasing him.
We should make it trivial like those English lords who go to court with the wigs. If you need to run a marathon, you
must wear it in full costume.
You need to take a message to someone so that's the race.
Yeah, and you must dress like Pheidippides, who probably wore, I don't know, a toga.
Yeah.
Or probably nothing. You know, the Greeks, they liked a bit of
he
nudity.
was the first exponent of barefoot running for a start.
No, that's also true. And he did it in record time for those days.
Of course, no one else ever ran that far.
No, and you had to because the fucking Persians were coming. It was not going to be fun if they got there before Pheidippides.
That's the incentive for a PB head. Persians.
Personal pet. Gareth, I posted a link above with the dwarves playing that slapping game. Jesus watches, you watch the video. If you laugh, you go to hell, says Grant. We'll have to save that for next week because we're out of time. But I really think we've had a full menu today of all kinds of weird.
There are things in my head that are not going to go out. Stairway to Stardom theme tune, and then that woman's. It was a young girl, right?
The singing, no.
The haunting mutterings of that girl in the pub are going to stick with me forever. She couldn't project.
I don't even
over
know what the song is, but
she couldn't project over one of her chins, let alone four, and everyone's trying to wake out like, is this the chorus?
Gareth, how's your gunt looking? Are you ready for December? I was just saying to Ben that I managed to get to 90 kilograms.
Which is good for your frame. Well done.
Yeah, it's a major. Now I've got to get 3 kgs down from that, and I'll be at ideal weight. Then it's BMI territory
I'm much more steady, and I'm 83. So your 90 is good for your height.
Yeah. No, but I'm still a bit fat. It's always a bit fat. Get rid of a bit of the fat. Just trim the fat. All right, James and Flex, take your pick of whatever you want to end the show with today, because you always choose some shit. And we've given you so much good stuff to play with today, so you choose. All right, everybody, have an awesome weekend. We will see you on Monday at 6 a.m. Try to behave yourself. And thanks to the Kiffness. Most especially thank you to you. I hope you had fun. See you on Monday.
Stay tuned, because Stairway to Stardom is next with Frank Massey.
On the stairway to stardom, you see tomorrow starts today. On the stairway to stardom, we're here to brighten up your day. We've got singers and dancers and actors performing for you. But there's more, so much more, and it's all right here for you. On the stairway to stardom, we'll entertain with talent and style. On the stairway to stardom, we've got the other shows beat by a mile. On the stairway to stardom, on the stairway to stardom, on the stairway to stardom, on the stairway to stardom.